seen one of these sonic tubes? They're a ton of fun. It's a thunder tube. They've got a little diaphragm in the bottom of the tube, and you got a spring. And cats love them. All right, so that was a fun rip, huh? That was super fun. Put that together. Usually I just, give me an hour if I don't give a rip and let me burn for a while. But sometimes I put some time into something, and that was totally fun. Did you notice the homage to Yngwie? Of course, we have to pay homage to the great one. But this video isn't so much a this compared to that. This is $1,200 or so. This is $300 or so. And yet, this is a smoking fun amp. You can get, and you'll see the settings, but I set this up to try to be American, vintagey, not, and I'm already talking too much. So you'll hear it, and then at the end, I'll have some things to say about this one versus that one. All right, so like I said, this isn't to take anything away from this amp. It's really kind of to highlight the Egnater tweaker. This is my fourth one, and I'm keeping it. Had one ahead and sold it. Then I had the combo and sold it, and I missed it. Combo was great, but I was thinking I needed 2-channel amps. I was going through this thing where, you gotta have 2-channel amp. So I sold the combo, and then I got another head, and I did an effects loop mod to it, and it was great, and I loved it, and I sold it. And then it's the amp I sell and keep missing. So This time I got it, and I got another one, $285, good price. It's a newer version, and I'm going to keep it. Now, let's talk about some differences. To me, in the room, now this comes off a little more muddy or thick or bassy because I think because of the rectifier circuitry, the recto verb tone. But really, it's really pretty close. Egnater does a great job of covering the vintage channel as well as the modern channel on this. And in fact, on the modern setting, the Egnater is a little tighter. Still plenty of bass. You know, I had my bass down below half, so the Egnater can pump out lots of bass. No problem there. When you get this on the modern channel, the volume really goes high. Not just the preamp volume. You hear the power stage as well. Shh. The power stage, the power amp really kicks up as well. So that's one issue I have that I don't really like, is that big volume boost when you go from vintage to modern. Also, this is a flatter frequency response, whereas this has some of the notes out of the rectifier come off and kick you in the ear a little bit, especially on the clean channel. When you're noodling around on the clean channel, some of those notes really come out of the amp strong, and can make you cringe a little bit. So different speaker really helps with that. We tried a G1275 Celestion, and it had a flatter response, took a lot of that away. So you can get rid of that if that bothers you as well, like it did me. Other things with this is because it has two masters, it's a dedicated 2-channel amp, each channel with its own master. If you're using things in the effect loop, delays or whatever, like a looper, for me, I'd love to just get phrases going and write over it or noodle out. But if you change channels, the looper volume really increases a lot too. Or if you were to write a loop on the gain channel and go to clean, my looper volume would drop drastically. And that drives me nuts. I don't care for that. But it's kind of characteristic of any amp with two masters. If each channel has a master, you're probably going to deal with that. It does have a series effects loop. The older ones, first versions, had parallel, but a lot of people were modding them, turning them into serial effects loops. This is a serial effects loop. It has EL84s. Reverb is really nice, separate reverb for each channel. I went ahead and also modded this foot switch, kind of thing we do on this channel a lot. This is a standard foot switch for just channel switching. I went ahead and modded it so that you could change the reverb using one chord and one pedal as well. Reverb for each channel, and that works really well. Very nice reverb. It should be. It's a big old spring box down in the bottom. So great. Clean is a little chimier on the Mesa, but you'd expect that. It's a $1,200 amp versus a $300 amp, so the price difference is huge. But I'm just amazed with how well the Egnater stands up to other stuff. It has a lot of switches, and they all do something, which is nice too. You don't click it and you can't tell if it made a difference. You click it and it's a difference. It makes a difference. Egnater also takes pedals like a champ. Nice effects loop. However, you're going to probably have to mod it. On the first versions, you had to do a line level mod, reversing two resistors around the op amp that controlled the gain for the amp. And on this newer version, apparently you have to do it's different. It's a gain mod. It's not a line level mod to go between like rack mount and pedals. That was the old deal. This one is a gain increase mod for the effects loop. Because if you run analog pedals through the effects loop, you're going to have a signal loss. If everything is digital and true bypass, you should be better off. But I have found even that if you have 2 or 3 or so pedals in the effects loop, just having, even if they're all true bypass, like the ones I have, you still have some signal loss, and the signal muddies up a little bit and quiets down a little bit, which isn't good. But it's an easy fix. about 4 parts and a little soldering, or Egnater will do it for you. Great company. Love the guys down at Egnater. It's local to me in California, so it's not like shipping crazy. I can get something down to them pretty easy. I could even drive it down to Petaluma. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. Again, the Tweaker, one of the coolest amps I've ever had. This one I'm keeping because it's the one I keep selling and I miss. So this one's staying in the collection. Rectifier, good amp, but I think it's definitely a professional player's amp. Also, it's loud as the Carrot Truck. So you're going to want to attenuate it. It's not an at-home practice amp, I don't think. It is loud and it likes to be turned up. The tone and everything gets much better if it's turned up. The EQ responds better. It's quite an amazing amp. Incredible tone, very different tone. But if you plan to use it around the house, you're going to want some sort of attenuator. And I've got an email off to Mesa about an LPAD, an 8-ohm, 50-watt rated LPAD attenuator. All right, and so I may get back to you on that. You can use a JHS black box in the effects loop, but because the effects loop is between the preamp and the power amp, you're still going to get the shh. None of that gets attenuated. And there's a bit of that with this. It's a really strong amp. But, as far as collecting amps that sound different, it does. All right, so take care. Sub up, share. Thanks for all the support. If you have any questions or things you'd like to see, let me know. I'd try to help you out with that. And we'll talk to you next time.